All right, now as I start this particular reading, the gentleman gave me some good input. So it's better I say it by voice. I did email him, but it's better I say it by voice because I know this is a very difficult thing that I do, and I know human nature, and I know a lot of stuff. But ultimately, nobody wants to see happy people more than me. My whole life has been sacrifice for helping other people since I was very little. But it gets complicated because a lot of people don't want to be happy, and most people are okay with putting on a falsehood. They go to church and put on a falsehood. They're in a relationship they're not happy with. They put on a falsehood. People having sex, the woman will act like, oh, it's great, but she hates it. So this is the world we live in. So that's why guys like me, we got really the dirty job because we're trying to help people that really don't want the help that they're asking for. And I know that, which is why everything I do, and this is from doing thousands of charts, but I always was like when God calls you, you're gonna be like if he really calls a priest, that priest is gonna be like a master psychologist, and every priest isn't a pervert. A lot of them are, but every priest isn't a pervert. Now I'm just using that term because anybody called for a service, whether you're a pastor or whatever, that's like a priestly service. Any service that deals with astrology, anything spiritual, you're dealing with priests. Like even when Jesus was born, they call him the Magi priest, the magic practicing priest. Now some people just go, oh, the wise men in Jesus, but those wise men were priests. And then even after 8 days, when Jesus was 8 days old, they took him where? To the temple with the priest. So it doesn't change. That's what I can try to tell you. That's why I have two channels. This channel deals basically with the whole twin flame relationship, soulmate stuff. But when you go over to my other channel, it's highly metaphysical. Highly metaphysical. And I don't like to water anything down on that channel. Because that's what the problem is. We've gotten too far from the way things are supposed to be done. And now we're doing it the way that the Matrix taught us how to do it. And that was go. Don't think. Don't worry about the afterlife. Don't worry about all that. Just get it. Nobody's perfect. Let it go. God forgives you. Do whatever you want. And that's just not true. So, in the good old days, before people got married or whatever, they actually went to see the pastor, which is a priest, like I told you. They went to a pastor, reverend, or Pete, and they got kind of like counseled on the Bible and what marriage really is and how difficult it is, and because even back then, if you were going to a church or something, and if a female asked to sit with you, they would automatically assume you two were getting married. Now, wow, that's pretty powerful. Pretty powerful. One seat with somebody, and now they're planning on you two getting married. And that's why these things didn't work out. Because again, even though they meant well, because it was religious, but it's not going to work if you rush into it. That's why the good old days was long walks, holding hands, enjoying sunsets, enjoying water, rivers, the beach, lakes, parks, picnics, really getting to know the person. Because that's how you develop real love, where I can't live without this person. And that's necessary if God is telling you you only can marry one person in your lifetime, and if you marry anybody else, I still consider the other person your wife. And you're like, well, wow, God, I've been with this second wife 15 years. Are you trying to tell me that you still consider me married to that other lady? I don't even know where she's at. And if you read the Bible, he goes, yes. But again, you hear me talking, and you blame me. I didn't write the Bible. So that's who you should be worried about, because that's who you're going to see at the moment of death, and all this stuff gets flashed before you, and they start telling you which way you're going, up or down. One of my favorite movies, as I recently said on my other channel, is Which Way Is Up is my favorite movie with Richard Pryor. And that was a very metaphysical movie too. A lot of people didn't catch on, but Which Way Is Up was a very metaphysical movie. And that's why they said Which Way Is Up. because everybody's claiming to go to heaven, but they carry their lives like they're planning to go to hell. But their mouth is saying, "Oh no, I know I'm going to heaven. I'm a good Christian." But their lifestyle isn't saying that. So that's why I have to remember that and say, well, we feel you overdo it. I have to. Do you read the newspapers? Do you check out the divorce rates? Do you see how horrible we treat each other on this planet? So I have to kind of bring it home. Because this is why. Especially for this gentleman. Let's just say he makes what I would call, according to not this chart, but according to the other two charts, that might not be a wise decision. Because one person has been through a lot of pain. They haven't healed yet. They're still in the Aries go mode. You got to slow down. You got to get healing. You got to let it in. So I already went over that chart. It should be right out here on this channel. You should be looking. Actually, see if you're on the channel, you should be able to see that video. That it's two natal charts. I think the word exposed was in it. So, but you can still try it if you want. Like I said, I can only show you what's there because you might have two people to try, and two people might want to prove me wrong. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. We've been together for 4 years, and other than a little argument here or there, we're going strong. But yeah, you probably have something to prove. See, my point is, any two people can get along. I've already told you that. Take two people that hate each other, put them on an abandoned island, and the only way they can survive is if they work together. Let them know we ain't coming back. We're not going to help you. You two, either you're going to die together because you hate each other so much, you're both going to die, or you're going to learn how to work together. Because that's the only way it's to work. It takes two people to do everything. So, first they're going to still talk crazy in the beginning. Once they start to get hungry and realize ain't nobody really coming back, so why are they arguing? Who's going to hear? Who's going to hear them argue? So now they're starting to talk. They're starting to work together. They're cutting out all that. Because all that junk is just a shenanigan. You don't hate nobody. How can you hate somebody you don't even know? But if you're in a white neighborhood that hate black people, you're going to hate black people. If you're in a black neighborhood, you're going to hate white people. Because you got a show to put on. Take them two people, put them on. Don't nobody care if you don't hate each other. We're leaving you here. You hate each other, you'll die together. We out of here. Let's go. And the whole team just leave. And you see the whole boat, everything just going. And you on this abandoned island. And the only way you're going to get food is to work together. Now, I can almost assure you that in most cases, because there's always going to be an exception, but in most cases, when you come back to check on those two, they'll probably be the best of friends. Because first they learn to work together to survive. Then they're talking. And especially like if it's a man and a woman, because they're going to get hot. You're designed to get hot. And once that starts, what do I hate you for? You never did nothing to me. That was the greatest sexual experience I ever had in my life. Then when they come out, there might be some little kids running around. And they might not even want to leave the island. They don't want to go back to the Matrix. Where everything is made up. Made to hate, fake news to make you believe stuff that's not true. On and on and on. So I figure I get it all out now. Because he asked me to try to stick to just the charts. So that's what I'm going to do. But I wanted to make sure we had an understanding why. Because this is what I told him. I said I already know what's going to happen. People, even the most sincere people, still treat this like bubblegum astrology. Let me prove my point. Now, I'm assuming this guy has a pretty decent job. Maybe a really good job. Right? Now, he may have went to school for that or whatever. But I can tell you one thing I know about this guy. I bet you he doesn't miss a move to make sure his boss is impressed. The clients are impressed. I bet you he doesn't miss a move. Because if he's making good money, he might even get to travel. So you ain't going to mess that up, right? But that's my point. You hear about this. Oh, this is Susie. Susie worked for her company for 16 years. And then she retired. But as soon as you say marriage, oh, she broke up in 2 years. She was married for 2 years and was divorced. So my point I'm trying to make is, we'll go to extra distance for a career or some other stuff. So now I was watching that dude Tony Robbins, and he's got that commercial where that guy said, "I'm in a band, I'm a guitar player, and my wife is mad because I'm never home." And blah blah blah. And Tony was like, "Well, do you think you could give up the band to make your wife happy?" He said no. And Tony was like, "Why not?" Because when I play my guitar, I feel like a god. I love music. I love the travel. I love people watching me when I play my guitar. So, of course, you see what's important to that guy, the guitar. More important than his wife. He even said it. And he loves his son, though, but he's willing to lose his son as well, if that's what it takes. So Tony suggested to him, why don't you compromise? When you come home, don't just come home and lay out. You know, you've been away from her on tour for weeks and months. So when you come home, you got to do things with her, do things with the child, try to compromise. And the guy worked it out, and the marriage got better. So that's what the natal charts do when you really work it out. Things will get better. Your insight will get better. And like I just said, if I show you two charts and I'm showing you this is why these two are not going to really be able to get along, they could take the same charts and work on it. That's what's called, marriage counseling and stuff. Counseling. So it's just me. Like I said, I don't think most people could do what I do. That's fact, because you don't know half the stuff I do. It's not just these charts. I got a job too, and I take care of elderly people, and that's still just some of it. So very rarely do I even have time to just sit somewhere and just chill out. That's why sometimes I have to take time and make time. So that's why I say, instead of bubblegum astrology, we all have to be adults here, because I don't think too many little children listen to this channel. So stop thinking somebody else is supposed to do something for you. Learn how to take the information, take notes like I said. You don't have to do this stuff right away. A little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there. But it's just easy to think somebody else is going to do it for you. Nobody else can do your life for you but you. Remember that. Like, I'm so unhappy. If I meet somebody, I'll be happy. See, you're going to blame that person because they're not perfect. They're going to fail you too. They're going to fail you too. I met this person and they did this and they did that. And this is why I do this. No, you do that because you're an excuse maker and you haven't grown up yet. That's why you do that. You can't blame another person for decisions you're making as an adult. So that's my universal job, my obligation, to tell you what's on the chart, tell you the truth. Now, if you take, I don't like his voice, you want somebody to talk to you like you're a child when you're a grown adult, I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry. So when you do take the natal chart, you slow yourself down. You schedule the time. You really know how to look at it, think about it. Because ultimately, like I said, your whole life is going to have some relevancy to your birth natal chart. Maybe more than you believe. Now, when you really start to learn this stuff, maybe you'll do your horoscope daily, whatever you're doing, but you'll have a better idea of what's going on. Which means you'll be able to react better. Like recently, I went through a period of just getting accused of this, accused of that, and I didn't do none of it. But I'm sure if I had time to check my horoscopes and stuff, that would have been there anyway. And I recently did check a lot of stuff on my other channel. Final thing I want to say, because I had some more supporting evidence I'd like to submit. Now, when I'm able to, I watch boxing. And one thing I hear all the time, the boxers say, the fight didn't go so well. What happened? My training camp, my coach in the training camp, we all worked on a plan, but I didn't stick to it. I hear that shit all the time. I hear that all the freaking time. So why would you do all that training, all that running, all that stuff, then get in the ring and deviate from the plan and then lose the fight? Because it's human nature. We're always looking for a shortcut, trying to get past that or this and that or all that. This is what we do. Hey, you don't have to do all that talking. Yep, you got it right. You got it right until you cheat on your wife or some other bullshit. I see it all the time. It's just human nature. And I've seen people sit down and study. And when they finally do it the correct way, I see change. Like in this neighborhood many years ago, in the 1980s, in this neighborhood, it was these females that came from a broken family, and they was out there. Very easy, very loose. Now, under different circumstances, I might have been like, hey, this is great. But by the time I saw them, I was going to religious locations every 3 or 4 times a week, and I was deep into it, outside knocking on doors, witnessing all the freaking time. This is the early 1980s. So I remember, like I said, those girls was in my neighborhood, and this is the 1980s. And I remember being outside my house, and that one female came walking up, and the way she was walking up was just highly seductive, almost like a slithering serpent. And you could just look at her and tell. Like she was at that moment in her life, she was the type of female that I could have said, and I didn't even know her like that. I could have just said, hey, yo, come on in, we're gonna do this, and she would have been like, I bet. No type of resistance. So I seen her coming towards me, and I literally started backing up, and I said, oh, wait a minute, I got somebody I want you to meet, and I went in the house and got the female I had been with, I was with her for 8 years, and I brought her out and introduced her to her, to kind of put that as a buffer barrier. And that same female that was highly seductive, highly sensual, we all started going to the same congregation. And I watched her begin. It took a long time for them to study because they wouldn't do it. Her and her sister and stuff. So then she began to study, and she totally changed. Just like I've seen a lot of females that were very, very wild, very sexually loose. But then they go to college and they start studying, and when they come back, they're not with all that foolishness no more. They start to have self-esteem, stuff like that. So I've seen it. So that's why you see me always telling you to study and take notes. And when anybody directs anything to me, if they're trying to get past that, I can't let it slide, because I know human nature. Human nature is, I got it. Everybody says that, I got it. I'm just going to get right to, I got it. Like somebody will say to me, oh, should I get with this person? Should I not get with that person? I go, study, listen, I did a whole video on that. Oh, no, just let me know. I never do it. Because that's no way to make a decision. Plus, I don't know you personally. I don't know the other person personally. All I know is what's on the natal chart. And sometimes that does not necessarily have to be correct. You have to go through the process and learn how to use the brain and make the decision. Somebody else can't make that decision for you. That's one thing I never do. I never abdicate my authority in my life. I don't give it to nobody. I've had the same doctor since 1991. That's 29 years last January. Right? 1991, yep, 29 years. Now, there's been many times he's given advice, and I just wouldn't follow it for whatever reason. And there's been other times I had to follow advice because my health was getting really bad. But I always made the decision, and I'm glad he respected that. Because if he had been the type of doctor to say, "Hey, listen, you're not listening to me, so I don't want you to be my, you can't be my patient," I would have been up SI, you know what, creek. So I got it all out now. So now we're going to the read. Like I told him, I said I definitely will take into consideration what you said. But the main thing is, you personally have to read this and study. And hopefully, for the wise people out there, this will become part of your life. Because it is part of your life. Just like when you talk about Jesus Christ, you can't talk about Jesus Christ without talking about the star that led the wise men to Jesus. You also can't talk about Jesus Christ without him talking about signs and the sun, moon, and star prophecy. That entire Bible is an astrological book. Don't fall for the person who turns to the one scripture or two scriptures that say, oh, right here it tells you don't do it. The whole Bible. Even when you see that woman in Revelation 12, she's got the stars around her as a crown and the moon at her feet. And the sun is there too. That's all astrology. What do you think that is? Let's not be silly, people. Let's not be silly. All right. Give me one moment. Now we'll be going right in. Now, the chart on the right you should be familiar with. Right? Let me make sure. It might be the chart on the left. But either way, we're going to be looking at the chart on the right. Because this is another person he wants to compare, see what's going on. But I believe it's a chart on the right. So that we'll be looking over there a lot. The chart on the left you guys have seen through a couple of readings. And we definitely been very extensively explaining that chart. So we won't be taking a lot of time on that chart in this particular reading. Now, the first thing I noticed was when you look at her Gemini, give me one moment. We want to count up her house. Okay, so that's interesting. So her first house is in her second house. Let me say that again. Her first house is in her 12th house. And you keep seeing that number 26. And if you remember the other woman that we did with his chart, I think she had a lot of 26s on her chart, I think. But we know he's down with that 26 as well. So that's spiritual. So yeah, her 10th house is Gemini now. And that's where her Juno is too. Because Juno means serious relationship. Looks like a asterisk. And you see the number 21. So once again, this is a karmic situation on her chart. Very interesting. This karmic, because the number 21 is a world card. That's a Saturn card. It's a karmic card. And also, it's also about endings. It's about karma, but it's also about endings. Now, this is all going on in her 10th house. And I'm assuming that in her lifetime, she's dealt with being fired. Because Gemini in the 10th house is usually like a short job, part-time job. She works here and there. But you got fired with Mars. So I'm kind of assuming, you know. But her Juno is the number 44 as well. So it is healing for her as well. Now, why would Mars in a 10th house? Because there's something there. Like, it's karmic, but it could be problems at a job. But in some cases, the person may have some type of connection to the military. But just remember that Gemini is also about communications as well as children. So that could even be a person who resolves fights between kids and stuff like that, or immature people, because Gemini can also represent immature people. Point being made is just a lot of possibilities of what that could mean. So we try to list them and put them out there so that when people discern it, they'll know. All right, now I'm looking on his chart because I'm noticing something. Not really. No, not really. I take that back. Because I was looking at his 7th house and stuff like that, and I wasn't seeing any numbers. But that's because he's got nothing there. So, again, Gemini in the 10th house. Gemini is all about, it could be teaching, but it's usually young people or immature people. It is communication, publishing, could be any of that. So Mars in the 10th house could either mean anything that has to do with a intense activity or combative activity or even sexual activity. But Gemini means communication, the brotherhood, siblings, could be small children, immature adults, short time, whatever it is, short time, short travel. And because Gemini rules the 3rd house, which is also like entertainment, it could be that type of entertainment too, like even short. Like if you went to the horse track, you have horses that run the furlong. That's like a mile. But then you got horses that run shorter distances, and they run them faster. And I forget what you call those horses. But even that's a possibility in this 10th house. But whatever it is for her, see that medium coeli, ME, wherever her true north node is, medium coeli is going to play a role in it. Now her true north node is in her 4th house of family. Whenever you have Sagittarius in the 4th house, this could be some type of traveling family, could have something to do with in-laws, but it's something where a person is stretching out and almost either going out into the world or bringing the world in their home. And that's her moon sign. So this person has a lot going on just to be starting a natal chart. It's almost like almost every lead you follow, there's more to investigate. And you see it's karmic again in the 4th house with good fortune or part of fortune. Also at the 29 degrees of karma. And then that's a soulmate asteroid palace. Looks like a diamond. But then you get 20 degrees, which is still implying some type of a judgment or ending or something getting resolved. And the moon is right there. So the moon is always mama. So what's interesting about this is the other female has the moon in Taurus. So both of these people have a unique connection with their mothers. Now in this case, it's more about family, home, and family abroad. And also Sagittarius is a person's higher self, but it's also higher education, higher law, culture, people who have class. So that's going on in her mind. And even though it's coming out of the family sector of her natal chart, it's also affecting her in her career. And the implication is this is one of the reasons why she's not able to keep a job in the 10th house because her mama instilled in her the essentialness of family. And her fourth house promises her that if she sticks to what her mama taught her, she'll have part of fortune or good fortune. And somebody is trying to connect with her who is family minded. Now again, this is my first time seeing this chart. Therefore, whatever I'm saying, it could have happened in the past, it may be getting ready to happen, or it may happen in the future. Tenth house is all about career and reputation. Fourth house is all about teenage to adult education, land, property, and real estate, family and ancestors, vehicle and travel, the mother and the subconscious mind, Imon Coeli. Whenever you see the moon in somebody's fourth house, that means their mother is definitely inside of them. In a good way or a bad way. But their mother is definitely inside of their subconscious mind, their emotions, and things like that. And we'll be getting into more with this. Now, this is why she's here, though. Her true north node is in the family, but ironically, her medium Coeli, which is also part of the true north node, is in the career. So she's kind of toying around with loyalty to both locations. And in the 10th house of career and reputation, she's got Juno for a serious relationship, healing, and it's karmic or ending. Plus, she has Mars at 24 degrees, which is the return. But the 10th house is a very karmic house as well. And we'll learn more about that Mars as we go around this chart. But we know before, the last time we did this chart with the other person, it was a strong Aries presence then. So now you kind of have a strong Aries presence again through Mars. And we'll probably learn more about this 10th house for 4th house riddle that's on her natal chart. I was going to say mystery, but it's more like a riddle. They want you to figure it out and solve it. And they do this often. Even when you read your Bible, somebody's always getting a riddle or a mystery they have to solve. Like the divine feminine, she loves the mystery, she loves the riddles. And that's why they talk about Thoth being a trickster and stuff like that. Now, when people do pay attention, now that's Ray Garcia. Now let me tell you about Ray Garcia. In my opinion, he's the greatest boxer right now. He knocks out all his opponents pretty much in the first round. A lot of his fights don't go past 45 seconds. Now Ray trains very hard. Ray listens to his trainers. Ray is only 17 or something, about to be 18. He's already got a steady woman, which is going to be his wife if they're not already married. And he's got a baby. So he's already family minded and all that. So he's probably an old soul. He's probably lived before. But this is a very young man, only 17 years old, and he's already made up his mind. Because that's what we do. When it comes to family and wife and stuff like that, we don't know. When it comes to hanging out with the boys and acting like we're still little kids, oh, we know about that though. We want to hang out with the fellas, have fun, flirt with the ladies. And we want to go, well, nobody's perfect, nobody's getting hurt. And we want to justify it. And this is why, like I said, the universe uses opportunities to connect with people. Because most people get so caught up on doing what they want to Did they forget that we're all going to answer for what we do? So again, the universe tries to find ways to remind people, because once you're before that throne, it's over with. Like once you go before that throne, he's not trying to show you mercy anymore. Now it's time for judgment. Now I've heard stories where people were about to die and Jesus showed up or Mary showed up and asked the person questions and still try to save them out of hell. And if they do that, that's wonderful. But like I would tell people, don't gamble. Don't gamble on that, because what if they don't show up for you? What if they show up for the guy in the bed next to you? He's dying too. Y'all both on the deathbeds. And they show up for him and he goes to heaven, but they don't show up for you and you go to hell. See, I wouldn't wait. Like I don't play games like that. I take stuff like that very seriously. Like I said, give me a moment. All right. So now we learn more about our mother, because once again, soon as you go into her first house, which is really her 12th house, so this is how you know she's lived a past life. The 12th house is always about past lives and karma and all that. So they took her 12. When I say they, the creator, the person who put all these natal charts together with the number system, the numerology. So they put her first house in her 12th house, making her 12th house her first house. So now she's on 2 lifetimes in this life. Like I said, that's why I tell people to learn how to slow down, learn how to take notes, learn how to study. Because like I said, if you're hearing what I'm saying, if you were to watch her, if you got to know her like pretty well, you would see that she's on 2 different lifetimes. Past life and present. Now, right away, because of her mother, it's all about the home. Now, this is normally the 12th house, ruled by Pisces. And you can kind of say it's a spiritual house or a psychic house. But now they made her 12th house ruled by Pisces. Now they made it her first house ruled by Aries. And Virgo's there. So whenever you see Virgo, that's the mother Mary, because she's the virgin. And in ancient times, it'd be Madonna, the Black Madonna, or Isis. Even the Catholic Church knows that. Now, so she is going to have a spiritual. That's why you see that 26 and see that 44 again. See, 44 means healing. Notice how she has a 26 there, because that's healing for her. Virgo is also the home, health, and healing. I was just waiting for that idiot to drive by. He's always coming through with that loud truck. All right. And now when you go to her Juno, which means a serious relationship, there you have it, 44 again. So this is definitely a mama's girl. And I'm pretty sure she was a mama's girl in a past life, and mama is still strong in this life. But she wants that home. She wants the spirituality. She wants to be in a serious relationship. And that'll be healing for her. Now, I don't know if I've ever done this chart before or not, because I know your friend of mine gave me charts before. Because when I see that Mars at the career sector, because it's reminding me of a chart I did for our mutual friend, and the same thing kind of happened. Because like I have a twin flame I used to work with, but then there's a soulmate that lives right up the street from each other, and you can even see they argue, like the higher selves. You can see that they argue. I've talked about that on my other channel, like they've argued and stuff like that. Because it's interesting how that Mars is right there, and the number 24 means the return. So this is somebody or something you've gone through before, and we've already told you it's past life. Like whenever you see 21, it says Saturn or Saturn energy is usually like past life energy. It's karma. So karma has to be based on something that's already been done. Like how you cheated people, and now somebody cheated you. That's karma. Okay, so karma is based on something that has previously been done, and now that's the response. That's the karma. So on her chart, you keep seeing 22s because 22s is the twin flame. So if you notice, if you're looking around her chart, you're seeing a lot of 22s. And that I said that 24 is return. You see 24s again with Vesta and Libra. Second house. So like I said, in her first house, that used to be her 12th house, but now it's her first house. She's ready for home. Now Virgo could say home, family, small children, health, healing. That's the 6th house. Now when we go to the 6th house, you see Aquarius. So once again, this is the people. This is serving the community, friends, family, organizations. Might even have to do with technology as well. Because really, both Sagittarius and Aquarius deal with technology. So now her sun sign is 11 degrees in 11 degrees and 16 minutes. But 16 is the same as Mars energy. Number 16 is the Tower card. So that's things being brought down, belief systems or whatever it might be. And remember, the first house is ruled by Mars. So in her first house, she has a lot of Mars, Aries energy. So she may only get to this point of wanting to have a home and family and all that through some type of intense situations, which appear to be karmic as well. Now 11 degrees with the sun, because I don't see any Libra connotations, I'm going to say that that's Leo energy, because Leo is ruled by the sun. So that 11 degrees is the strength card. That's the twin flame card, or a soulmate card. Now we go to the next, and you have Jupiter. So now you got 22 degrees in 2 minutes. 222. Now I keep seeing that all over the place. In fact, tomorrow will also be 22, a whole bunch of twos. Yeah, four twos in totality. So that's Jupiter that looks like number 4 with 3 twos. And tomorrow it is definitely going to be 2222, which again is twin flame, or 44, which is healing. So this person may be feeling pretty good tomorrow. You might even have a unique experience. Just recently, on February 18th, that's a female friend of mine that I haven't seen in years. But that was a day where all the women just seemed to be coming out of the woodwork to talk to me. Now, was that her trying to talk to me through her higher self? I mean, we live in a strange world. So I would doubt very seriously she's still thinking about me. But you never know. Because I know when me and her separated, when she did see me again, she almost lost her freaking. She totally went crazy. But she, it was just a strange situation. I don't know what she would do if she see me. I don't even know if she'd remember me and shit. But you never know. You might run up and hug you with some crazy shit. You never know with these crazy broads. Hey! Okay, I'm sorry. That was my Andrew Dice Clay impersonation. I apologize. I just had to do it. I'm a Leo. We like to laugh sometimes. All right. So again, Jupiter at 22, just like I told you. And number 2 is also about couples. And number 2 is also the High Priestess. And I told you on my other channel, I show you the High Priestess and Mother Mary are the same person. Now you can get mad all you want, but if you watch my investigative video, I proved it beyond a shadow of a doubt. Now if you want to stay in the Matrix and believe all that crap, that's up to you. But me, we try to teach them the right way, hoping that they come out of the garbage of the Matrix and live real, fulfilling lives based on truth, what's really going on. So I believe that video is still public on my other channel. Go for it. So I'm going to try to tell you again, the Blessed Mother Mary and also the High Priestess are helping this couple, whoever it's going to be together. Because this female wants the home, because that's how her mama taught her. And it looks like her mother taught her in the past life and this life. And this is why I say you have to slow down and listen, because sometimes you'll say, well, why is he saying her mother taught her in the past life and present life? I already explained all that. That's what I mean by slowing down and really listening. You can't rush through this stuff. And now, even in her ego, she really believes this, and she's willing to fight for it. So now it's starting to make sense. And remember, this is the first house of Mars and Aries. And look at it again. 25 degrees is law. 16 degrees is war, Mars. So she's willing to fight for that. She's willing to fight to make sure her man is with her. She's willing to fight to make sure they get married and have family. And she's willing to fight if you fuck with her, her kids, or anything that has to do with her man, her family, and her home. She's willing to go for it. So now we know what all this Mars is about on her chart. And to her, it's spirituality. It's spirituality. And it's healing. Because it's spirituality, because it's 26. That's why I told you, her first house is also her 12th house. And she's on 2 different time frames. And this is the main reason why she has Leo in the 12th house. Because Leo is going to do his best to bring it all together. And look at that. 16 degrees again. In other words, I'm not saying she's a violent person, but I'm telling you she's willing to fight. And it's healing for her not to hold it in. And I agree with her. You shouldn't hold it in. That's how you feel. Tell her like it is. Because that's the only way you're going to get respect. That's the only way you're going to get what you deserve. I just did a video on my other channel about a female, a modern day Bonnie. This was a woman who didn't need a Clyde. This was a woman who did. All these people talking about self-empowerment and all this crap. Well, this is one woman who actually did it. And then just run a big mouth. And don't get mad. I said if it was a man that did it. Because I hate people. Everybody out here talking. All these people out here on social media. All these comments being left. But how many of you actually get up and do it? Well, she got up and did it. And because she did it, she got the help she needed. She got a lot of correction too, but she also needed a lot of help. And I bet they won't take her baby from her again. So that's really what her 12th house is all about, is Leo coming to closure. Now, what is the closure? Well, it assumes there was some type of family or a home situation in her past life. But it looks like her mother was really wanting her to get it. And I don't know if she got it fully or not. But the whole purpose of her 12th house and first house is to make sure it goes down now. And not only will it be a home and a family, it'll also be a spiritual family. But that's a good thing because he's spiritual too. Because if you notice, he got that 26 degrees Mars. And I think he has a couple other 26s on the chart. At least one more, I think. Yeah, EP. So that's one more. Now we have to look up the number 54. Because in her Chiron is 16 degrees 54 minutes. So that we have to find out why 54 is used in that pivotal location. So when I mention Ray Garcia, that's what I'm trying to tell you. When people really want this, they're going to use it. They're going to be successful. But most people, like I said, they're very selfish. And if they don't see the immediate benefit, it just becomes bubblegum astrology. Because if you knew how many people tell me, oh, you know, you're so great, you're the best, or you're a man of God, I've heard it all. But then they knife me in my back. But I'm not offended. It's just human nature. It's just we're a messed up lot of people. But thank God there are people on this planet trying to help people to be more reasonable, to think a little bit more, be more spiritual, and hold yourself accountable, because you're going to have to answer for that. All right. Now, I believe this is called, give me one moment, Affinity Numerology. And we're going to find out what they say about the number 54. All right. So let's do it. Number 54. All right. Now, I guess they changed things around on this website. I'm not too happy with that. But let me try, because I'm still a nerd. I get around shit. So let's try it again. 54. There we go. Ha ha! The good guys finally win. Yay! That was my impression of a nerd. Oh. Okay, 54. So they say that a 54 is an adventurous number 9. Now remember, also Sagittarius is all about adventure, and that's the 9th house. So now we're starting to see that she's a little adventurous. But that's nice. See, this is all fire. You say, well, number 9 is also Virgo. The Hermit card. Yep. But if you notice, what does the Hermit have in front of his face? That lamp, that fire, that light. This is why, if you notice, the Hermit, he comes out in public. Now, the Hangman, number 12, he doesn't come out in public. He hangs upside down like an opossum or a bat. And he doesn't want to be bothered with other people. That's the Hangman, number 12. But the Hermit card comes out to the public. But he just sticks by his own inner light. But at least he's sociable. He comes out. So that's the adventure of the number 9. So this person is compassionate, tolerant, a humanitarian. But they say because it's number 54, this person will follow a whim. Yeah, I can see that. They're diving in. But see, this is how I see it so far. But everything so far, like all her aggression is for a good reason. I wish more people were that eager to be married. Because we got so much crazy shit now. Like, it's unbelievable. Like, y'all don't understand. I'm on this planet, like, I'm in tears and shit. The shit, especially out here on the east side of the world. The East Coast. It's like, and for these other people, it's like a normal day. A normal day in the asylum and shit. To me, it's like, what the hell? What the hell is going on? So that's why I say, I've been on this planet past 40 years. I can't do this shit no more. No ma'am. No sir. That's why somebody coming around me, I don't see it the same way as everybody else. If your ass is crazy, I done seen all the crazy I need to see on this planet. So if your ass is crazy, you won't be so associating this way. I don't care who you are. Like I'll put like BB King said, nobody love me but my mama, and she a little shaky too. You know what I'm saying? There's very few people that's gonna have that privilege with me, and it is a privilege because I'm a great guy. So I ain't with it. So they say, even though this person is adventurous, they're also pragmatic and tries to be focused and reliable. Whenever you see the word pragmatic, that means to study their Capricorn. But remember, Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. This whole thing is karmic. But this person came here. That's their true north node, their life purpose. See, your life purpose is that little horseshoe, that little true north node. And they came here. Really, allegedly, fulfill something that wasn't fully fulfilled in a past life. But they came here for the family and everything. Now, of course, her true north node has the orange, has the aura, and that's the only thing on the natal chart that should have an aura, is that little horseshoe, the true north node, your life purpose, why you're here. Now, if it's missing that aura, that means it's dysfunctional. But she has hers, and he has his. So, very good, very good. Now, I wanted to say something else. Now, the person whose chart I did the other night with his chart, now, I know that person, fairly well. I've done a lot of charts for that person. Now, in no way, shape, and form am I putting anybody down. It may sound that way. What I was trying to do when I did those charts was to avoid a situation of both of these people hating each other. Because they're friends. But we all know how it goes. That's why I'm telling you again. When it comes to the twin flame shit, the worst mistake you can make, and this is the one everybody does, is jump in bed. Oh, you're my twin. Oh, I feel. And twin flames are the only ones that can jump in bed and have that kind of sex, and then the next day the person won't even call you, won't even talk to you. You don't even freaking exist. So that's why I say, I know everybody's busy. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, take more time to use your YouTube search engine and type in twin flame separation and blah, 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 and hear what the people are saying. Oh, how could they leave me? We had such great sex. They even told me that I was the best there. Oh, why did they leave me? I hear that all the time. But my answer is, why did you jump in bed so quick? It's like, even back in the day, if you met a female, she wants to have sex, but she's also trying to make you happy. So in the beginning, it's a lot of sex, a lot of sex, a lot of sex. But then, all of a sudden, she's like, well, are you doing this because you like me? Or are you doing this because you just like having sex with me? You're like, well, wait a minute. You used to be the one that used to be with all the hugs and the kisses and the grinds. You used to be the... Now, why are you accusing me of using you for sex when you started all this? So now you're in the crazy lane. So, when you do it the correct way, that I said earlier, like they used to do it in the good old days, slow it down a little bit, get to know the person and stuff like that, that accusation can't really be used against you because you didn't rush into it. And plus, people's characters are shown. Because when you rush into it, how do you know they're not rushing into it with everybody? How do you know you're laying down with her? She might like women. You might like men. When you rush in it, then you're like, wow, if I had known that, I wouldn't have. Yeah, but you would have known if you didn't rush. So there's a time and place for everything. So this woman on this chart, she's willing to rush into it. But so far, there's nothing to indicate that she's not honest and sincere about it. And like I told you, that's why she's here. That's her true north node, which means your life purpose, why you're here. Now, is it a good thing or a bad thing? It all depends on who she's with, who she does it with. And again, I always try to tell people, everybody, it's going to be a little bit of problem. Nobody's going to be perfect. So all of us have something we're going to need to work on. So there's no Mr. Perfect or Mrs. Perfect. And like I said, even if I do natal charts, and it does look like those two are going to be at each other's throat, if they're willing to work on it, that's their business. But I have to warn what I see. So like I said, if you wanted to buy a home and you hire somebody to go up in there and check it out before you buy it, he would be unethical and unprofessional if he said, you know what, I don't want to hurt these couples' feelings. They should just get married and they can figure it out. I'm not going to go down there and tell them that the top floor is about to fall out. That the pipes inside the walls are so hot, I know it's about to blaze into a fire. I'm not gonna ruin them. They look so happy. They'll figure it out. I don't have the heart to break their heart. And go out and walk past them and go, hey, everybody, everything's great. All checked out. Then they move in, and within like 3 days, they done fell through the floor, paralyzed. And then when they got paralyzed, then the fire came through the wall and burned them and killed them. See my point? So I have an obligation to say this is what it is. They have an obligation to be mature adults to deal with it. But most people don't want to hear it. Most people would rather me come out here and just lie to them. Take their money, and they'll pay me to lie. Take their money. Oh, no, it's okay. It's great. Oh, no, you'll work it out. Oh, it's all right. Everything's good. So, to me, like the people say, well, if you just be more upbeat, then everybody will be more upbeat, and then that's what they'll attract, more upbeat situations. And that could be true, but the bottom line is you still have to be aware of stuff coming your way, positive and negative. And when you learn how to deal with it a little bit better, because see, my background is I deal with people that if you don't tell it like it is, those people are not going to respect you. So they have to know, oh no, not him. Once he tells you something one way, it is what it is. But that's necessary, because otherwise we'd be going back and forth. Like I said, I like challenges, so I want to grow up. I want to be a man. I don't want to have to dumb it down because everybody around me doesn't want to grow up. I don't want to be in Peter Pan land my whole life. I don't want to be a freaking fairy. Oh, I'm sorry. I know nowadays everybody's so critical. By fairy, I was speaking of the young thing that flies around. And not the two guys that, oops, sorry. You guys is too sensitive. It's a freaking joke. I'm a black guy in America. You think I haven't heard jokes that hurt my feelings? All right, let's continue. All right, but I still want to read more about 54. So she also wants to make life better for people as number 54. So that's the healing we were talking about. But it still wants this personal freedom. So that's unique about her. She wants the collective whole of the family, but she still wants the personal freedom. And that's why you saw that Sagittarius where you saw it and stuff like that. Because Sagittarius and Aquarius are very much about freedom. So she has little concern of judgments, of lifestyles, societal expectations, religious beliefs, and political practices. She would rather have a wide variety of beliefs and cultures. But we'll see. That's number 54. But we'll see if that's true on her natal chart. And I say she'd be very witty as well. And I think she probably has a nice sense of humor. That's the vibration I'm getting off of it. And I think she had a good mommy, because she learned all that from her mommy. And her mother is still with her. If she's alive, she's with her in the physical, especially inside of her subconscious mind and emotions and spirituality. And if her mother has moved on, her mother is still there in the spirit. See, my point is this: when you do it the correct way. See, this gentleman is doing it the correct way. Because we had one chart, one situation where it just seemed like the person isn't healing. And like I said, I know that person. And sometimes you hold it all in, and sometimes you try to attack everything like a warrior. But there's nothing wrong with crying. Nothing wrong with asking God or a psychologist for help. Because otherwise you're not ready to be in a relationship, because you haven't learned how to love back. And you haven't learned how to trust again. And who's ever telling you the truth is trying to save you through all that hell you will put yourself through if you didn't listen. So they keep saying this person is somewhat of a humanitarian. Alrighty. She had. I just showed you the case because I told you those other numbers I seldom look up, but I could tell that one needed to be looked up. And that one brought us a whole lot of insight into her and her personality. All right, now the second house is the money house. But remember, it's also the first house. So this is still going to have to do with her personality and how the world sees her. But now you got to remember, her second house is a high Venus house. Because the second house is ruled by Taurus. Venus rules Taurus. Venus also rules Libra. And you have Libra there too. So for some reason, that we'll probably be able to figure it out. But for some reason, love is associated with finances, having a partner, some type of value system, some type of legal thing going on. And remember, Libra also gives to is social. That's why you see that Aquarius there as well, because we've already determined that this person is very interested in helping humanity. Now, some people might ask, well, why is Vesta so far from Venus? Well, it appears that over a period of time, she will become more reserved for whatever reason. Because Vesta can mean isolation, but Vesta can mean a whole lot of stuff. And that might be the answer too. Because number 3 is also the Empress card. Because you got the Emperor and you got the Empress. But when they call this woman an Empress, it's because she knows how to put it down. She's not no pushover female. Like, you have different people you call for different jobs. She's the type of person you will call to really get the job done. She's about that. Now, the Empress also deals with young children and creativity and causing things to grow. But that should make a lot of sense to everybody, because we already know she's about that family. She's about that home. So now she's even bringing it into the second house of finances, possessions. She's the type that would make sure she had, she would have whatever the child needed as far as furniture wise or whatever. She would make sure the child had it, especially if it's for a health reason. Like, you walk in a room and a little baby got the little mask on, because maybe the baby. Because when we were small, we had to put Vicks on our chest. Because like when you ain't got no money, they'll give you Vaseline, and there used to be some junk. I think they call it castor oil, and they would, because they're not gonna take you to the doctor because it's too much money. So they come up with all kind of ways to heal you and stuff. Cod liver. It was cod liver oil or castor oil, some crazy. They have all kind of home remedies. And yeah, see, I'm looking at your chart now. I was looking at your chart. I was like, wow, this guy really got a lot of activity. So that's why I said it might be hard to understand, but you gotta train yourself. That's why I say you got to get to a quiet place. You got to write. Just like I said, and I gave you many examples of I seen people who in the beginning they said the same thing. Oh, I can't read that. I'm not gonna read that now. And plus, you got to remember. See, this is how you know you're mistrained, because you think you're gonna do it by yourself. When you're into stuff like this, you're always gonna have the greater spirit with you. All the Indians knew that. Like everybody knows that. So you got to stop believing a lie of the Matrix. The Matrix wants you to believe that you did it all on your own. It was by your own power. Oh, you got this. But I teach you correctly. No, you don't have it. The only thing that will happen, like I said, somebody, oh, listen, I'm a man. I slept with 7, 8 women. Yeah, you're gonna be burning in hell 7 and 8 times. Like, you gotta understand the bigger picture. Stop thinking that the Matrix is the tell all and the all, because it's not. This Matrix came and it's gonna leave. And then after this Matrix is gone, something else is gonna set up. And people are gonna be living in that, whatever that is. So the Matrix does not have all the answers. The Matrix, that's what I said. What does it say? Ma's tricks. Ma's tricks. Somebody's tricking your ass. It's gonna come down just like it came up. Just like walking in a hologram and then walking out of it. So the point being made is Venus is so far from Virgo, because Venus is so far from Vesta, but Vesta is Virgo energy, just so you know. That it probably implies a time lapse. Because like I said, 24 is a number of return. Just give me a moment. I'm trying to find something real quick. Now 14 is Sagittarius energy again. So it's important to her that her love is free. So you want to be free. You want to keep it free. You want to keep it fun. And you definitely want to travel, because she likes that. That's part of her inner person, part of her collective. So she definitely wants the family, but she don't want to be no stuck in the house housewife. So we got to make that perfectly clear. Because I might have said some things in the beginning that some people may have thought I was saying, well, she just wants to be a homebody. She wants to be a mother, a house mother, and she just wants to be with the kids. She wants all of that together, but she wants to be on the move. And that's very important to her, because you keep seeing it on her chart. So where Venus is at 3 degrees and 14 minutes, and also, that's also Mayat, just so you know that. See, Mayat is Libra, balance, but 314 is Mayat. Like if you go 3, you know what pi is? 3 is like, pi is 3.1416 or something. So when pi comes up, look at the symbol for pi. It looks just like the symbol for Libra, the pi sign. So this is all Mayat. This is what I'm trying to tell you. This is about something that happened in a past life, and now her karmic debt is to make it work now. And she knows that. That's why she, like sometimes when you meet somebody and they just ready to get married, like what the hell? I just met you. I mean, we don't even know each other's name yet. I really just met you. Are you talking about marriage? What? Well, sometimes, why? Because it's a karmic debt. It's a karmic assignment. And they know that. It's all in their subconscious minds and stuff. They already know. So where it's at 3 degrees, that's the beginning stages. But when it gets to that 24 degrees, it's the return. A little later in the relationships, because Libra represents relationships. And also, her Venus is 3 degrees 31 minutes. I saw the 14, but the 14 is down with the 24. 24 degrees and 14 minutes. So again, even though she wants to return and everything, she still wants to have freedom. So maybe what it's starting to look like to me, maybe in a past life, she was kind of bullied. And maybe she rebelled. Because we'll get more into it when you start reading about Saturn retrograde and all that. She started to rebel. So now her karmic debt is to be a good wife and all that, a good mother. But her mate's karmic debt is to not be abusive or a bully. Now Libra in the second house, it's all about partnerships, contracts, the law, karma, social issues, agreements. And when Venus comes in, so this love has to be based on. So this woman, like I said, this woman is not no dummy. Like, she wants to love and she wants to be a good woman, but it can't just be with anybody. It has to be with somebody who can fit her financial expectation system. But her financial expectation system is not built on being a gold digger. It's built on a whole family thing. Like, this is like, so far, this is a Proverb 31 woman. Even with that 26. See, AC is your ascendant, your rising sign, part of your personality, especially how the world sees you. And EP is your ego. This is where the sun went over the ecliptic when you were born, the EP. And the AC is the horizon, is when the sun went over the horizon when this person was born. So she came into the world ready to be married. And with the help of her mother and stuff like that, she already knows what she's looking for. So her Vesta is more interested in the financial aspect of the second house and her karmic duty. She's more interested in that aspect of the second house than she is about the love aspect of the second house. Because even when you look at her Juno is very karmic, but once again, it's based on her Mars agenda. So, like the woman who said it ain't no romance without finance, that would be this type of woman. Because she has a family agenda as well as a life agenda where you got to have money to move in your family or life. You might want to travel. Now, Vesta is interesting. Because Vesta can be about loyalty and duty. But they also warn you that wherever you see Vesta at on your natal chart, be careful. Because if you don't take breaks, you'll burn yourself out. Vesta can also be about spirituality because she's a priestess. Vesta can also be about bullying the feminine because Vesta as a priestess was bullied. Vesta can also be about isolation. Secrecy or outside the body as a whole. Vesta can also be about rape because as priestess, they were raped. These are young girls that were raped as priestess. And any one of those scenarios is possible. And there are hints in this second house with Venus. But it's nothing there that'll solidify it one way or the other. But there are hints that are the things I just said. But otherwise, this second house is all about you do your job and secure the finances, and I'll do my job supplying the love and the support, and also showing you how we can use these finances to make the world a better place. And that's where the spirituality of Vesta comes in. Now, this third house is very rocky, very shaky. Now, the third house is ruled by Gemini. But when you have Scorpio in the third house, ruled by Gemini, this is war zones. Just like you see that Mars up there. This is war zones. Power struggles. All kind of supernatural stuff going on. Supernatural stuff going on. Gossip. And Scorpio is already powerful by itself. But when you add Pluto, its ruler, it's going to be hard to control. See, the third house is dealing a lot with the past life. And you're getting a better understanding as to why she's kind of like a good girl in some of those houses. Because that's this life. I told you she's on 2 time frames. He's going, damn. First you told me about the other female, and that seemed like a World War III waiting to happen. Now you're telling me about this one. And again, life is not perfect, I know that. But we have to be ready for these things. And see, what y'all don't understand is I'm alive. Because when I saw all this crazy shit, when I was born into this planet, I fought. That's why I'm still sitting here. There's a whole lot of people came up with me dead. They've been dead. None of this stuff is funny. As far as the information and how this life really is. Because nobody's telling you to tap out and run and hide under the bed. But you have to learn how to maneuver yourself through this. Because these are minds waiting to explode. And you don't know how many people have said, I was only trying to help that person, and they wilded out on me. And they lied on me and all that. And see, that's all going on in the third house. Because third house is all about gossip. See, the Scorpio in the third house, that's all about gossip. You know, all kind of crazy shit, supernatural shit. Normally the third house is about children, the brotherhood, siblings, the environment around you, communication, thought, short distance travel, publishing. But once you put Scorpio and Pluto in it, now it's out there. And all that stuff I just said, you got to add the element of drama to it. And then you got the anaretic degree. So I'm just going to say right now, because of Gemini, Scorpio, and Pluto energies, you have to be very careful. You and the person to the right. Because that's why I said the implication is this stuff was going on in a past life. So in this life, the universe is encouraging both of these people. So hey, let's have a real marriage situation, a real family situation. But this time, leave all that drama out of it. Now, 20 degrees is the judgment card. It's Pluto energy. And the judgment card is about looking at a situation as it really is. But it can also be about resurrection. Like something that appeared dead was now coming back to life. And wherever you see Pluto or Scorpio on your chart, it could mean that. So now we're going to pull up the anaretic degree. Well, no, that's not an anaretic degree, but it is a warning. The degree is 20 degrees. That's judgment. But it is 29, like 29 minutes, but not 29 degrees. So it's not anaretic. It's not a 29 degrees, but it's a 29 warning. It's just showing you how intense this is going to be. And you have to be very careful because I'm telling you, they've already done that in their past life. So in this life, you're trying your best not to start living the past life again. So far, that's the weakest house is number 3, and then number 10 because of the Gemini, Scorpio, Pluto, Mars presence. So that'll at least we'll understand why she's got that crazy side. And as you dig deeper, it might be even more that's figured out. But that crazy side is directly related to her last her prior life, her past life. And there was a lot of intensity and drama there. We've already explained her fourth house, and I'm sure that her mother has a strong Sagittarius presence on her own natal chart. But now the interesting is this. Now remember, her first house is really her 12th house, and they got Jupiter right there. So Jupiter in the 12th house is your guardian angel. And as long as you're doing what you're supposed to, being unselfish, helping others, Jupiter will always make sure that person has money. Jupiter will also be a guardian angel that'll get you out of certain things. Like you might have should have been in a car accident, a life-threatening car accident, but Jupiter will save you and all kinds of things. So it's ironically that Jupiter is a ruler of Sagittarius, and that's in the 4th house where your mother is. So that's my point. So a lot of times you go, oh, I'm so glad for my guardian angel, but your guardian angel may be also, it may be, you may have your own guardian angel, but your guardian angel may also be working with like your deceased father or deceased whoever. And sometimes even different ways you look at things. You have to remember, we're in a matrix, so we believe time is real. Time is not real. Eternity is real. So when you're dealing with angels and stuff like that, they're already in eternity. So sometimes that angel who you think is, oh, that could be a relative. That could be somebody else who was a friend of yours, a family member of yours, and stuff like that. You say, well, I don't understand because they just died recently or they're still alive. It doesn't matter. You're in a matrix. There is no such thing, no real such thing as time. Like it's almost like you had a lab kit, and in your lab kit, you built a certain area and built something in that area. Now it might work well, it might function well, but it's only functioning in that little ass area. It don't function like that everywhere. It's only in that little ass area. That's how this matrix is. You may feel like it makes you believe that it's so powerful and so real and it's so big and all blah 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 blah. But like if you was out of a body experience, you would see how foolish this is. If you experience an out of body experience, you would immediately have a sense of eternity. All right, so once again, now we get to your 5th house, which is ruled by the sun, and Capricorn's there. So again, you're dealing with karma, and a lot of times when you deal with some type of Saturn, Capricorn, Leo situation, you're dealing with your ego. Could be a past life, but it's definitely dealing with ego. Now, Capricorn in the 5th house is going to try to limit, just like his boss Saturn does. And Capricorn, just like Saturn, will try to make you accountable. Because that's what Saturn and Capricorn do. But really, the 5th house is supposed to be about fun. But you got all these retrogrades there. See, all this stuff is karmic. And they keep showing you that number 14. Now, Uranus retrograde, again, that's past life. And that's a person that's too extreme in this life. Like they don't know how to pump pump their brakes. So you have to be very careful with that. And it's kind of ironic because Capricorn is actually going to be telling you to slow down. But Uranus retrograde is like coming out of nowhere. And it can happen at any time. Even world events. Or just happen out of, a war will break out or some crazy stuff will break out. Alright, so just give me a moment because I have to find this information. So now again, that fifth house is very intense, but that's why I said that's also, you see all those retrograde planets, and this is all about past life and that ego. Because it seemed like there was a lot of fighting, a lot of arguing, a lot of ego. And I don't know. I don't know where the mother ties in, but maybe the mother, who knows? But maybe the mother was trying to tell her, and for whatever reason, she just didn't listen. Who knows? Alright, so Uranus retrograde. And remember that Uranus rules Aquarius. Because Aquarius, we'll wait till we get there. So Uranus retrograde can also make a person, like if they're normally quiet, they become loud. If they're normally loud, they may all of a sudden become very quiet. Extreme variations and opposites. So Uranus retrograde is going to be a person that sees things in extreme black and white and no gray areas. So that's what they're saying. See, Uranus retrograde means that in a past life you were probably a rebel or a revolutionary, and that makes a lot of sense because you keep seeing a lot of Mars, a lot of Aries, and even in your second house, they basically implied that you were an empress, some type of high-ranking official. So they're saying in your past life you were probably a rebel or a revolutionary, and you were always fighting either the establishment or the authority. And they said you were always looking for a battle. So they're telling you that it's too extreme to be like that. So in this life, what you have to work on is compromise, letting people, because you can't control everything. So let's just say somebody was a conservative, whatever. They're a conservative Christian. They're very, very judgmental and very, very conservative. So a guy might just be a gay guy. Hey. But they think they don't have to talk to him. They think he's disgusting. His lifestyle is disgusting. He's going to hell. Blah blah blah. They're too extreme. So they don't know how to they don't know how to just respect him as a human being and realize that he can do whatever he wants. It's his life. He's going to have to answer for it. As long as he's not encroaching on their rights, they can't encroach on his. So they shouldn't be so extreme with it. So that's something that people have to learn. So that fifth house is going to be a little rocky because of these reasons. And then Neptune is just all out escapist. So this person has to be careful though, because Neptune will get into drugs, get into alcohol addiction, and see, this is the fifth house. So it's almost like in this life or another one, she may have had a restricting force in her fifth house, but that only made her go even more wild. See, you even see the number 12. And you don't want that number 12 in a Uranus retrograde. Because we already told you, it's going to be weird, going to be crazy, and going to be doing all kind of crazy shit. See, that's when you see these people, they got all this stuff going on inside of them, and they don't talk about it. That's why I knew I needed this. Like, I knew I needed YouTube. Because I had so much shit I had to get out. And when I came in, I was telling everything. And I know relatives didn't like it. Relatives was offended. But I felt like y'all have done a lot of horrible shit. You know what I'm saying? So y'all not sending me you're not turning me into a statistic. Y'all are not going to send me to an early grave and then act like y'all crying. Because even my father said that. My father said they're going to send me to an early grave and then they're going to cry at the funeral. And that's exactly what they did. So I already knew. Because like I said, I've always been a thinking person. I've always sat around and studied everything. And it's a lot of stuff on this planet that most people just don't notice it because they're so busy. But if they were able to sit there and start studying stuff, they go, why is it that way? Why is it that way? Why did this happen to this person but not that person? But they start to see it, but most people don't think like that. So the point I'm trying to make is, because you're sitting right here on the natal chart right now, you have to learn how to think for a matrix that you're in. And that'll make the difference between your life or your death. So the number 12 is telling you that this person will be going into these different personalities and stuff when they really need to be working on it. And not only that, remember the Neptune retrograde, which is all about escapism and hiding what you really feel and all that. Neptune is number 12. Neptune rules the 12th house. And now you ask the question, well, is there spirituality in this fifth house? And yes, there is. Because you see that 26. Now, I'll tell you why. But let's go back to Neptune. So now you got 20 to 20 minutes or 20. So that's still judgment as well. Well, what type of judgment? Well, again, it doesn't take a nuclear scientist to tell you that if you're in the house of pleasure and you're wiling out and trying to hide everything, that judgment that you're going to run into is probably a lawful judgment. And this is why Capricorn is there, because Capricorn is still karmic. So Capricorn is going to represent the police and the court and all that. Because if it wasn't for that, being forced to chill out, this person would probably self-destruct themselves and other people. Now, Curious is the nurturer asteroid, but her Curious is retrograde, which means she's not really getting a lot of nurturing. But it's still 26. So to me, that's the mother energy. That's her mother looking over her. Either the mother in the new world, or the mother looking over her in the mother's higher self. But they kind of realize she's got to be stopped. Because there's no restraint in drinking, and there's no restraint in any form of escapism. And Uranus retrograde is just wilding out. So now when you go into the 6th house, there is Aquarius, and Aquarius is ruled by Uranus retrograde. So now if Aquarius is in the 6th house, this is still all about service and probably like technology. It might be some form of home health. But it's also going to be for the people. Because Aquarius will always be the people, the community, friends, association, groups, charity, organizations. So now, just to let you know, now you got Saturn retrograde. And I keep seeing that 14. Also, the number 14 is the Temperance card. The Temperance card means this is all internal changes. And the Temperance card is also a twin flame card or a soulmate card. Because they're showing you the water and the sand, or the water and the earth. The water usually represents the emotions. The earth more like the mind. Water can represent the woman. Earth will represent the man. But it's internal. The Temperance card means internal change. So that's a person going through a lot of stuff and it's changing them internally. And sometimes they may not even notice it at first. They'll have to look back and say, wow, I really have changed. I'm not like that no more. I don't feel that way no more. And the Death card is when you just get taken out. But even the Death card can mean the death of a belief system, or it could be a literal some form of restraint. But then the Death card still means you can come back to resurrection. Because we see that on this chart. We see death and resurrection on this chart. Because when I look at her second house, it just looks like Venus is devoted out of love. And see, that's number 3. So that is the Empress card, and that is the Venus energy. And it's about children and stuff. So it seems like she has a devotion in the earlier part of her life or whatever for that reason. But by the time she gets all the way down to Vesta, it's a more mature devotion. And there's also a chance that her man might be older than her. So in this house, the 6th house, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the 6th house is always about service, but also small children. This could also be connected to a person's job in the 10th house. But you see those 14s. So this is inner transformation, and it is Sagittarius energy, and I do believe that has a lot to do with her mother as well. Like I said, if you look at her mother's natal chart, you should see Sagittarius energy in significant locations. So even though she might be craving for freedom, she's still being restrained. And Saturn will do that, because Saturn does cause delays, and Saturn is also about karma. Saturn and Jupiter are sociable planets. Now on this chart, Jupiter is definitely connected with what I believe is the mother energy. And I believe that that Saturn energy might be her dad, or whoever was in that role of father, stepfather, father, whoever. Give me a moment, I just gotta look at this real quick. I just gotta respond real quick, and then I'll be continuing. All right. All right. Give me one moment. Just give me one more moment. All right. So we're still going into Saturn retrograde. So Saturn is going to slow everything down, and it's going to turn things into a tough taskmaster. So in that 6th house, everything that's in there, it becomes a tough taskmaster. This is the home, health, daily activities, which can include your job, children, small animals, healing, co-workers, subordinates. But it's going to be a tough taskmaster there with Saturn retrograde. And the home is the home, but it could also be daddy from the 4th house. But it causes you to work harder, and also it takes longer to think things through. And there are no shortcuts a person can take in a Saturn retrograde. They tell you to take time to breathe and do things right the first time with a Saturn retrograde. All right. You're going to have issues with authority. And like I said, this is the home sector. This could be dad. It could be her twin flame in a past life. It could be her lover in this life. But it's going to be some type of authority she'll have a difficulty with. And some people say, well, how come in some areas of her chart she seems so nice and so ready to comply, but in other areas of her chart she seems like a wacko, ready to fight? But I told you, she's on 2 different lives. I've met people that have like 8 different personalities and shit. Like, one thing about a woman, you can say whatever you want, but they're very mystical people. And it's very interesting to study it, but it can be very frustrating at the same time. Men can be kind of like that, but pretty much a dog. A man stays a dog, if you ask me, pretty much. Even if he is mystical, he's still a mystical dog. It's kind of like what Sylvester Stallone said. He says, I played all these different movies, but they were all Rocky. He said every role I ever played was still Rocky. He said if I did a movie about fires, Rocky joins the fire team. He was going off on himself and shit. But I know a lot of people that know him, work with him, and they say he's a great guy to work with. A great actor, and they say he's very intense. I've had professional athletes, like fighters, they say he's tough. They say Sylvester Stallone is unbelievably tough. And they said even when you saw Hulk Hogan and Sylvester Stallone do Rocky, and Hulk was throwing them all over, he really was throwing them. And Sly will say, do it harder. Hit me hard. He didn't even hit me. Hit me harder and shit. So there's a lot of people that, that respect him a lot for those reasons. And he says that when they were both famous, he said he didn't like Sylvester Stallone. And I could kind of figure out why, because Sylvester Stallone, he kind of was that type of guy. If you want to know how Sylvester Stallone thinks back then, how he thought back then, watch the movie Pump It Up. Pump It Up. And he tells you how he thinks. He tells you how he manipulates his enemies in competition and shit. He really goes off. He said, I knew I was going to win this competition. He said I was going to win this competition. Because Pump It Up is about the weight competition. When he won, strongest man in the world or whatever. Whatever you want, the competition. He said, I knew what I had to do to win this competition. He said, so I was in the gym. And I was lifting. I was doing my sets. And I was doing curls to 10. He said at number 4, my 4th curl, the phone rang. He said I got up, I stopped. I got up to answer the phone to see who was calling me. He said it was my mother. And he said my mother said to me, your father has died. He said the phone was empty. I didn't say anything. So she said, Arnold, your father is dead. Are you coming to the funeral? He said, I said no. And hung up the phone and went back and completed my reps and shit. I fell out when he said that shit. I'm sorry that the guy's father died, even though his father had some racial comments, but I'll let that slide. But I thought that shit was so funny. But at the same time, look how famous he became, because he wasn't taking those shorts. Like, if anybody ever wants to see how to get to the top, study that movie, Pump It Up, because he wasn't taking no type of shorts whatsoever, and he did win. So with a Saturn taskmaster, there are no shortcuts during that time period. Plans cannot be rushed or put together without thinking. Also, if you're working on any type of legal papers or documents or contracts or deals, they may be delayed with a Saturn retrograde. That's why you see that 13, death, delayed, death, almost the same word. Deadlines may be extended further, but you may find yourself working on something you thought was already complete. And that's crazy. That's almost like saying if you did complete it, the universe is going to mess it up anyway. Because they're saying you may find yourself needing to work on something that you thought was already complete. But the way I see it, either it was complete or it wasn't. So if you completed it and you go back and now you got to work on it again, then the universe did it. Or, to read a little bit, to make it a little more applicable, you might say, okay, I'm ready for court. I got all 7 pages of the document. They may say, well, you need all 15 pages. They're like, wait a minute. No, they said 7. No, that was a misunderstanding. You need all 15. So then you still got to go back and work on it. So that's Saturn retrograde. So again, anybody with Saturn retrograde is always in conflicts with authority. It's either the boss, upper management, probably, could be dad, because Saturn is like the dad. Also, people with Saturn retrograde, they don't know how to say no to themselves, because Saturn direct is all about restriction, following the rules. But a Saturn retrograde is almost the opposite. So this person won't know how to say no, and then they'll expect somebody else to speak up for them. And then when somebody doesn't speak up for them, they get mad. This is a very internal person, and they really are scared to speak up for themselves, so they get taken advantage of. So they have to learn how to speak up for themselves, learn how to stand up for themselves, and they got to learn how to not allow people to abuse them, but they also can't be abusive either, because some of these people are abusive to other people as well, or bullies or whatever, or like getting somebody to do the work you should be doing yourself and stuff. And they also have to learn patience, like I said, because a lot of these people with the Saturn retrograde are very impatient. So like I said, you see a lot. So this is all internal changing. All these 14s you're seeing represent internal changing. And then you got Lilith, because Lilith is very internal. Very internal. And like I said, having Lilith in the 6th house, be careful of children. Be careful of children. So that's why I told you. You see that Lilith in the 6th house, be careful of children. But also Vesta in the 2nd house. Because remember, you're dealing with the priestess, and these kids are sacrificed one type of way, abused or sacrificed. So be very careful of this. And when it's that person's natal chart, it might even been them that this happened to. But you have to be very aware and careful. Now in the 7th house, this is all about relationships, contracts, agreements, the law, legal, karma. But it's Pisces. Pisces is ruled by the 12th house. But this is a spiritual person. And now the vertex cross is fate or destiny, but it's still karmic. It can still deal with past lives, and it's 21. 21 once again is a world card or endings, or this is the moment when something comes out that you may not have known before. Now the number 15 is bondage, but the number 15 rules Capricorn. So you got to look where your Capricorn is, and you see all that stuff going on there, which we already explained. But then Capricorn rules the 10th house, and when you go to your 10th house, you see Mars. So this is a karmic relationship that definitely is going to really be taking its toll, because almost every step you take is some type of karmic assignment. And each person has to make their decision how they're going to deal with it, because that's a lot of karma, karma, karma. And somebody might say, well, with all, how can they win? Well, that's why I said you got to listen, take notes, because I'm giving advisories as we go through. But if, like I said, that's why they make the mistake. They listen to me. Don't listen to me. Like, try to listen to the information. You can almost like forget I'm here. Like, because that's where people go wrong. You're following. Just like even if you go to church, you follow them. Don't follow a man. Don't follow a woman. You got to learn to figure out what's going on with your life. It's all right to get information and stuff, but then you got to take that information and come up with a workable plan and utilize it. So when you look at her first house, which is really her 12th house, is very spiritual and very karmic. When you look at her sixth house, which has now become her seventh house, is very spiritual and very karmic. The karma is bringing all the challenges to overcome, and the spiritual is saying, we can do this, we can do this. And you're hoping that you're not the only one, because nothing's going to change if you're the only person who's allowing the universe to talk to you. Eighth house Aries, so you know it's going to be explosive. So like I said, she has a lot of explosive houses. And only a couple of areas that, hey, this seems pretty cool. This person seems pretty decent. But other than that, she has a lot of explosive stuff. Mostly past life and karmic related. Ninth house, Taurus. Now, the ninth house is higher self house, in-laws, religion, philosophy, higher courts, higher laws, long distance travel. But the ninth house is also about the house of teachers. Now, when Taurus is in the ninth house, this is about to be teaching for truth. But Taurus has to be careful, because Taurus is an earth sign, and sometimes he becomes very either sensual when it's almost inappropriate, or instead of him taking his higher octave, he goes his lower octave, and then he tries to find out how to make money and stuff like that. So he misses the point. So we already did the 10th house, but like I said, ironically, Juno's there. 21 degrees, so you know it's karmic, but it's also healing. And then she has to deal with past life stuff again, 24, but there goes that whole Mars stuff again. So this is turmoil. I mean, these people really went at it. Now, let's go around her chart, and we'll probably go around his too. Now, where Venus is, she may find herself in a serious relationship with a Libra or a Taurus. And now I'm just looking at his chart. And his moon sign is Taurus. Because like I said, when you say to me, well, is it my twin or not? I'm not going to listen to that. That's what you paid for. And you say, I'm not going to listen to that. Is it my twin? That's all I need to know. No, it's not. Because you're only going, you would only be going by me. Which means that after a week or two, you're going to forget what the hell I was talking about. Because you didn't really look into it. Which means you'll still dive into a situation that may or may not be for you. When you do your best anyway to study and listen and the reasons why we're coming to these conclusions, you're in a better frame of mind. So that after a week or two go by, you'll still be like, nah, because I looked at my 7th house and blah, blah, blah. Otherwise, like I said, that's what a groupie does. And that's why I'm going to say it again out here on YouTube. You see it all the time. They find people that they can leech on to, and then they feel like, okay, I'm going to hang out here. It's like going to a bar and throwing money up on a bar because you just keep the drinks coming. That's what they do out here on YouTube. Oh, I like that person. I'll pay them some money. I like how they make me feel. But this ain't supposed to be about your feelings. It's supposed to be about what's really the universe is telling you why you're here and what your assignments are. Because everybody here has got assignments, whether you believe it or not. And you're going to answer for that. Like at the end of all of this, somebody's going to ask you, why didn't you carry out your assignments? Please don't send me to hell. Please don't send me to hell, please. He gonna be like John Belushi. He gonna be like John Belushi in that movie Animal House. When that female that he was running from finally caught him, and she put that rifle to his head, and he got on his knees ready to die. And he was like, please don't kill me. And she was like, John, why did you leave me at the altar? Why did you leave me at the altar? Then that dude came up with every excuse. He spit like 1,000 excuses in like 30 seconds and shit. Oh, my dog, oh, my mother, I forgot the ring. He came up with every excuse. But let me tell you what was great about that movie when you look back. Now that I'm more enlightened on metaphysics. See, that entire movie was about the Catholic Church. Because it was a nun that called 2 of her former students. I think wasn't one of them named Elroy, I forget. Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi. She called them back to class, beat them with the ruler one last time for old time's sake, and told them they had to restore something that was missing or something. So that just showed you the wisdom of Dan Aykroyd. Because a lot of those movies that Dan Aykroyd was in, he wrote those movies. And if you know anything about Dan Aykroyd, he's a very metaphysical person. So now the reason why that scene was so important, because we're talking about the Catholic Church. So now this woman has a gun on his head. If you know the Catholic prophecy, Mother Mary is supposed to crush the head of the serpent. Now John's got on all black, except for the white shirt, but he's got on all black, and now he's in that position, ready to be judged and destroyed. And everybody figures, you're a dead man, John. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he makes up a bunch of lies, excuses. But she just forgives him and drops the gun, and she still wants to be with him. Now that's an excellent portrayal of the mercy of God through the Divine Mother. Now I'm not Catholic, but I'm just saying it is what it is. So that's pretty cool. But it just shows you how far ahead, say, Dan Aykroyd was. Because I'm pretty sure he wrote more. I'm not saying he wrote all of Animal House, but I'm pretty sure Dan Aykroyd wrote a lot of it. All right. So yeah, I think that's what we did. I think we went all around the chart. So now we're going back. All right. So once again, Venus in either Taurus or Libra. Well, his moon sign is Taurus. Both Plutos are 20 degrees, and that's what I mean by when you meet people, and those people y'all got your energy. That's why like I work in retail, so people come in and out. So a lot of those people that come in, they really are bringing energy one way or another. I remember one time was this old like I would try to tell you all some things, but all I can tell you is Non-Nania has TI videos. Just listen to those TI videos, because I see similar stuff, not exactly like hers, but I see the same weird ass shit she does. So one time in the store, in the retail store I was in, it was kind of busy, but it was one person that just kept on doing stuff, you know, weird stuff. Almost hit me with the card a couple of times. Just weird. Plus, it's weird because you only see a person in a store maybe once or twice before they move on. But for some reason, this person just kept showing up. So I kind of had my eye on him because I just could tell it was something with this. This is what I mean about transmission of energies. So I begin to get this feeling, like be careful, be careful. And then at that exact moment, like two people came out of nowhere, and they just came up to me and started asking me all these questions, and I just felt a certain type of way. Like I really felt uncomfortable. Like I don't want these people around me. Like I really felt like, and my whole response was like, like just like when you don't want to talk, because it just felt a certain way. Now somebody would say that's paranoid, but this is what I would say. Very rarely does that happen, but that particular day. And plus, if I told you more about what was going on before those two people approached me, because really there's a history of a certain type always coming around, and almost the moment they come around, all kind of fucked up shit starts happening. Stuff starts breaking, all kind of crazy stuff. So I did what I told her. Lady almost hit me with the cart twice. Now I'm in the store, especially back then. I was in the store literally way more than I am now, and that's never happened. So I kind of know when it's like, you can call it energies, spiritual setup, whatever you want to call it, but it's very real. So why am I telling you that? Well, y'all both got the Pluto at 20 degrees. So I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm just letting you know y'all have that connection. Pluto at 20 degrees. So then, Moon in Sagittarius. Nope. Moon in Sagittarius and Cancer. Nope. True North Node in Sagittarius. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to look at just Sagittarius, and then I'm going to look at the ninth house ruled by Sagittarius. Well, your ninth house has the sun in it, in Aries, and that would still be Sagittarius. Some type of Pisces Libra connection. Nope. Some type of Libra vertex cross connection. Nope. Jumping all the way up to the 10th house. Capricorn or Saturn or Mars or Gemini, Juno connection. Nope. Well, they both got a. No, they don't. All right, now, okay, here we go. So I thought they both had a Virgo Jupiter connection, but they don't. Or do they? Yeah, they do. It's at 0 degrees, so it just made it in there. It just made it in there. And that's his second house. So like I said, that's a unique that definitely not twin flame. Definitely not twin flame. Because twin flames tell a story. And even though there's not a whole lot on this chart that would say these people would have like a passion and love affair. But again, it doesn't mean it can't happen. That's why I try to tell people. And that's why I say it, and a lot of people on YouTube say it. A lot of these gifted people on YouTube tell you this is guidance. Because we know people want to argue. Oh, well, you said there was nothing. Me or her passionately in love and blah, blah, blah. So the possibility that could happen, just like I said, sometimes you may have a great relationship with somebody who's not your soulmate or your twin flame. But I'm pretty sure when people get to that level of love, they probably are soulmates. But what I mean by that is it could be somebody you wasn't even thinking about. It could be somebody at your job. Like I said, I'm just going to be honest with you. All it takes is two people that get sick of the bullshit and the fuckery. And you'd be surprised what those two could do if they really wanted to. But it's just something on this planet that keeps people going back to self-destructive behavior. And I believe it's that way by design. Because I've seen sometimes, like even recently I saw females acting totally different than how they normally act. But that had something to do with Valentine's Day and the shift. And also at that time, Mars was behind the moon. So what I'm saying, Mars's energy was being blocked by the moon, and the moon is more like motherly and more sociable, believe it or not. Because even when you talk about the honeymoon and it was a full moon, it was so romantic. So the moon will try to help out more with love and getting it together and stuff. Because like I said, most people they're gonna come with the drama one way or another. I done seen it too many times, so that's why nobody can tell me I'm wrong. I'm not saying everybody, but it's just too many people come with too much drama. No matter what you do, you learn that. Like if you've ever gone out your way to help somebody get out of a bad situation, and and you risk everything to help them, and then they just f it up anyway. F it up anyway. And after a while, you learn, man, f that. From now on, when it comes to that person, I might do this or that, but I'll never do that again. It's how it is. Some people, you just got to know. It's a lot of stuff I had to learn, but there's a reason for it. For every, you guys know, when I say Oscar and Felix, that's the odd couple. For every Oscar, there's going to be a Felix. For every Felix, there's going to be an Oscar, and you have to get used to it. And I think that's by design also, because if God really wanted you to be somewhere, you would be there. The fact that it's so complicated and so hard is because He really don't want you to be there, even though you're taught to believe that. Oh, well, you should be this type of man, and you should be this type, and you should be doing this. But the moment you try to do it, it'll be so many obstacles to that. And you can keep getting up and trying. And by the time you're successful, what happened with Michael Myers? The moment Michael Myers got successful, one of the most successful comedians and comedic writers on the planet, and what happened? His dad was dead. And that's the main person he wanted to see him succeed. So don't tell me I'm wrong. I've seen this shit. It's like somebody wrote a bad movie over and over again. But there's goodness, though. That's why I don't mean to be pessimistic. All I'm trying to do is get people to the point that they stop lying. Because you're going to keep lying, like I told this gentleman in the email. It's a new day. It's 12:08 a.m. So I'll say yesterday. I told this man in the email last night. Everybody's going to talk the talk and act like they walk and walk. But at the end of the day, they're going to rush through all this information, and they're going to go right back out into the world and keep on making the same dumb mistakes they were making before they got this whole reading. Because this is something, like I said, you got to look at this stuff like Ray Garcia. See, he takes marriage seriously, he takes his child seriously, he takes his training seriously, and he takes boxing seriously. And that's why he is one of the best. Right now, Ray Garcia is the best boxer on the freaking planet at 17 years old. And that's facts. Just study the statistics. So I know what I'm talking about, regardless of whether people going to tell me I do or tell me I'm not. I have a mentality like a female rapper. She's a young girl, but she can rap. She's one of the best rappers I ever heard in my life. Molly Quinn. That's how she raps. Who's going to tell me I'm wrong? Because she hits you with facts, and then she goes, who's going to tell me I'm wrong? And I feel good about that, because I won't go to my grave shafting nobody. I won't go to my grave lying. I won't go to my grave the way a lot of other people do. And you're all going to be held accountable, just so you know that. So you still got plenty of time to repent. Don't be like John Belushi in that movie when you're on your knees begging for your freaking life. But hey, I ain't mad at you, because I ain't trying to burn. Ha ha ha. All right. So here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. We got the new moon readings offers. We all got all offers. We still got the cards. We do the angel cards. Anything with natal charts we do, of course. But anything we're trying to find out what's going on with you, trying to understand the supernatural, trying to understand the truth about the life you're in. If you got questions about family members, loved ones, employers, whatever. I've had people say the dog. I say, yeah, the dog is under astrology. Anything on this planet is under astrology. So you got to remember that. The cat as well. But the cat is so smart, he already understands astrology and shit. A dog kind of understands it, but a cat knows and shit. So alright, so that concludes this one. Now, I have everything he wrote me. So I'll go back to a look at it and come back. But I do want to address because he was feeling like if you did it separately, you would understand it betterly. And I never agree with that, though. Because like if you're trying to find out if these two relate, you need to look at both charts like I've always done it. And that's why I said with most people, it may seem difficult, but it's not. You will be surprised if you just did it the right way, how much better understanding you would have. Because I've had people talk to me that I could tell they were really listening. And I remember one guy asked me to do his charts, and then he listened to that one point. I think his Juno was in Sagittarius. And I said, you Your twin will probably be a Sagittarius. So he wrote me back. He said, yeah, my girlfriend is a Sagittarius. So he was listening. So it's not, none of this stuff is really that difficult. It's just that you haven't done it maybe before, and it's just easy. Humans just give up easy. They really do. They just, especially in this country, because in this country they want you to be fat and have fake news and don't be a problem. But you gotta learn how to get that fire back. Because I gave you the example of people who work 40 years for one person and then retire. But then they go home and they can't do anything. Oh, I don't want to do it. Oh, I'm so tired. Oh, I don't care. But they can go to work and go, yes, sir. Yeah. Oh no, I'll stay. Yes, sir. So it's an attitude adjustment. You got a bad attitude about things that really matter, like family and longevity and honesty and shit and commitment. So once you adjust that attitude and you see the benefits, because anything you really see the benefits of, you be doing. That's why you see me. I'm very dedicated to this astrology stuff. But you got to really see the benefits yourself. That's why I said listening to somebody else is not going to help you. You got to pick up the pen and paper. You got to do it yourself. And when you begin to see it, that's when it clicks, and then you can't live without it. Same thing I said about that whole love thing. When you meet somebody and y'all start hanging out together, really holding hands, whatever, hanging out, like that shit's got to be sacred. That's how it used to be in the old days. Now, and I know you said we ain't in the old days. I know that's what the problem is. That's one of the major problems. We're not in the old days anymore. Everything's effed up. Everybody lying. It's just effed up. Now, there's a family, a black man, a black female. That's his wife. Now, they come on 3 ABM, which is the Seventh-day Adventist broadcasting. Now, I forget their names, and I forget the name of their show, but they do a show about food, like healthy living or something like that, eating for life. So, one thing about them, because they cooking food and stuff like that, they have designer aprons. He'll have his name on his, she'll have her name on hers, and they're designer aprons, and they have little, Bible scriptures and stuff like that. So somebody said, hey, how much does it cost for us to get the apron? Because they're used to people merchandising everything. Everybody's merchandising something. So right away the husband said, these ain't for sale. This is between me and my wife. And then she shook her head. So my point being made, it was sacred. To them it was sacred. This is our show. This is for us. This ain't for everybody. But that also shows you he must be making a nice amount of money. Because he could have definitely made a lot of money off of them things. He didn't do it. So it got to get back to being sacred. Where you can't be without this person. However y'all do it. Some people might see each other after work every day. Spend like 20 minutes together, 30, who knows? Some people are throughout the week. But it got to be a situation where you actually see each other and y'all are happy with each other. It can't be like now everything is so dysfunctional. Like almost as because if y'all know how many dates I've been on with, I'm getting cursed out. I'm saying, how the hell she cursing me out? I'm paying for everything. You know what I'm saying? I done seen it all. And then some people think you're going to stay in a situation and keep arguing. Not me. I got a whole life to live. I still see myself as a young man. I still got a whole lot of goals. I've been in service. Like this type of stuff you see me doing. I've been in spiritual service and stuff since I was a little kid. I'm just getting started. That's how I feel. Like look at Jack Van Impe, who recently died. He was like 88 years old. He was getting ready to go on a world crusade. A world crusade. This dude is 88 years old. And this is the death resurrection we were just talking about. He almost was going to die. And all of a sudden, through a miracle of God, he came back. And he got to live for a little bit longer. Now, what's even more miraculous is that sometimes when people are real old and one person dies, the other person goes, well, I can't do this by myself. I'm going to have to close it down. But his wife said, nope. I just got an email from her today. Nope. Starting in April, I'm going to start hosting the show. And I said that. Y'all think I'm lying. I'm not lying. I wrote that letter. I wrote a letter to her. That is Dr. Rexella. I said, Dr. Rexella, you can't keep on putting on repeats. I said, you should take that show. I told her I got that shit. You don't have to believe it. Anybody want to see the letter, I'll post that shit. And then right after I posted that letter, and I got another email where they wrote me back to confirm that they had heard from me. And then she wrote a letter that said, in April, I will be hosting the show from now on. So my point being made is, that's real power, and that's real love. She's carrying on the legacy of her husband, even though she's very old. She's very old. He was very old and she's very old. But because she loves her husband so much, she's carrying on a ministry of work that he did. See, I believe shit like that. I don't believe in taking it out easy. I believe if God put that fire in front of you, learn how to go through it. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for thou art with me. And all these bubblegum people out here, these groupies, and these weak people that are scared to death of everything, running because you're in the Matrix, and the Matrix is teaching you how to be a coward. That's on you. But you're going to have to answer for that, one way or another. And this is why you see so many people in bad relationships and all kind of crazy stuff going on this planet, because they don't have the backbone to say, no, we're not going to do it. They don't have the backbone or the challenge to go forward. So my job is to remind y'all that's what God or the universe or the stars are looking for. They're not looking for cowards. And for anybody else that's offended and stuff like that, I can't help you with that. It's not like I said your name. I don't even know who you are. You see my point? So you're too sensitive. Too sensitive. So that's it for now. God bless.